Hello, this is Derek from Future Growth and Vision Norman. I want to kind of address a bit of a controversy that has kind of come up in Norman. I read an article by OU Daily, and it's an article that had a concern that I had as well. And I wanted to really kind of bring that to everyone's attention. I want to make sure that we understand the excitement that is going to be a part of our world in about 10 days. We have two huge events the same day. This has caused a little bit of, I would say, stomach acid in some people's lives. But the reality is, it is going to be super exciting and so fun and so incredible. And we have a great opportunity that we can utilize this. Now, let me be really transparent and say, do I wish it would have been coordinated earlier? Absolutely. It would have been better to have that happen. It would have given us the opportunity to kind of pre-plan and pre-stage, but since it didn't, let's make the most out of it. We had another event happen that was very tragic and very traumatic, but it kind of helped us learn. And so that's kind of the way I'm looking at this. So the event that happened at OU, where we needed to kind of test our security procedures, we got a real life test of our security procedures. And I thought, we are looking at numbers that, for example, the Chance the Rapper event that is happening at the University of Oklahoma is sold out. Our stadium seats about 85,000 people. So you have 85,000 people coming for that event. Now, on Norman Music Festival weekend, we get a lot of people. That Saturday, the 29th, is the largest day with the most people here. Usually about 100,000 come for the day, like for that one day. So we can have up to 180,000 people in Norman beyond the 130,000 people that live here. So to put that in context, we're looking at somewhere around 300,000 people being in Norman on the 29th or the weekend of the 28th and 29th of April. That is a massive, massive group. So what do we do with it? Is it that we're going to be scared of it? We're going to be upset and all that? No, I don't think so. I think we take this as an opportunity to test our systems, to test our city. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of questions and people. I would say these are the things that we can look at and really build on what we're doing. We have opportunities, 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 and I want us to seize them. The biggest thing that we have to work on as a city is to rapidly respond when the opportunity is there and do it. Well, we get a real life test. Yay us. So let's start with the idea that we're going to have a huge, huge crowd. That means massive ways of moving people around. If we have that many cars come in, where do we put them? Because guess what? They're not all going to be downtown, because downtown is going to be shut down on Saturday. And actually Friday it shuts down. So then they can't be there. We can't put them like in the neighborhoods because it'll lock down the entire city. So where are we going to put everybody's vehicle? We're going to need parking lots. We're going to need shuttles. So then that means our bus system is going to have to run at accelerated rate really quickly. So what do we do with our Embark system to make that happen? And what do we do with, do we need to bring in other buses, other ways? Uber, Lyft. If you're an Uber driver or Lyft driver in Norman, you're going to make some money that day. But where are we going to put the vehicles? If people want to camp, have we also talked to Lake Thunderbird? Do we know whether Lake Thunderbird can handle it? So if we get camping spots being taken up, are there other ways? Are we going to utilize Lloyd Noble as their parking lot? Are we? How are we going to handle that? So we have all these different spaces we need to work out as far as parking is concerned. While we also have that, we need to recognize that there are more electric vehicles in the world than there have been. And do we have electrical outlets to be able to charge those vehicles? We have some up at Max Westheimer, we have some downtown, but we don't have that many. So as we're looking at future growth opportunities, where are we going to put those electric stations for those vehicles? because people are going to come in and they're going to want to charge their vehicles. We need to look at water usage. Let's check the numbers. Once this event occurs, we'll get to see the strain on our system, whether it's water, electricity, sanitation. Because guess what? We're going to have all the people in at OU, but we're also going to have all the people downtown. So what would normally occur is we would bring in resources and collaborate. Everybody would work on one large scale event. But since we have two, our resources are a little bit split. So, for example, the biggest example I can think of is security. Why? Because OU has a police department. So what would happen is Norman would get help from OUPD during the festival weekend. And likewise, if OU was having a massive event, Norman PD jumps in and helps as support. Well, now we have two massive events that all have to be secured. So we're looking at what does that look like? So where we would have staging at the Norman Music Festival with our OSBI and all the people that do that and the crisis management people, they're going to have to look at this for two different venues and what does that look like? So those plans should be in place and should be getting in place. Now, that's all the serious kind of like infrastructure. Oh, roadways. We're going to have a traffic problem for the weekend. So let's look at the bottlenecks. Let's look at where the infrastructure doesn't work, where the roadways don't work, where the intersections don't work, and write that down. Keep a note of it. If you're a citizen and you're like, this is craziness, write down where you're located and send it to the city so that they can go ahead and gather that data afterwards. Because I think this will be a great snapshot for us to look at growth and what will happen, where the bottlenecks will occur. Will we have enough staffing? I think that's going to be a great question. Or will we have enough infrastructure? That's going to be a great question. And so it does give us a real life scenario of what happens if Norman grows to be about 300,000 people, which I know sounds like a lot, but the projections are that we're going to grow quickly. What happens if that truly does occur? We can then see and pre-plan and start thinking about, oh, this is what we need to think about in the next year because we have the SEC coming in. Then we have a couple of years and we'll be that size. So then what happens when that occurs? Now, there are three organizations. Actually, there's many organizations that are going to have the best weekend ever. Small business in Norman is going to have the best weekend ever if you make sure that you're open, accessible, and you don't run out. So those are the things that you need to think about is, okay, we had it planned for you to have 100,000 people and you're like, we're crazy busy when that happens. Now we're adding in another 80,000. So 85,000. That number is going to be much larger. Also, the event at OU does not start until 7 o'clock at night on Saturday. So what do we need to do to get those people that are coming in, because they're going to have to come in early. We're going to have to warn everybody coming for that event. If you want to stay here, you're going to need to come in Friday night. Why? Because you're going to need to get in here, get a hotel room, which may or may not occur because I don't know how booked we are, but we're pretty tight, I bet. We're going to have to book out all of our hotel rooms, figure out what we need to do regionally to help to have places for people to stay, and then again, get them in here. So that's going to be booked out. But we need to make sure that happens. Now, there's been some disagreement about that they might feed off each other. The other thing that can help, particularly if Chance the Rapper's coming, that we should get with his people, his management company, and have him come early. Why? Because if he comes early and walks around downtown, he can see that we have a giant music festival, which is fantastic. It will get out in other circles that people will recognize that we have this available, and it can only help us by getting out PR, promotion, and if he goes and watches live music or he takes pictures, it just is a way for us to also showcase that we have things going on while this other event is going on that he's headlining. Now, with all this in mind, we have a lot of people coming to town. It also is a great time for us to showcase our community. So, the guy who is going to have the craziest job ever is going to be Dan Shem. Why? Because Dan Shem runs Visit Norman. Visit Norman is the opening of the doors to Norman and everything we have available. His job for the next 10 days is going to be to get to everybody that's coming to visit what is happening, how to get around, what's available, and all the events that are going on. So if you have an event, the next 8 days is the time for you to start promoting your event so that we get it, we have it, and we know it's available that weekend. So you can tell all the people coming in town that you're open and you're ready to go. Now, the other person is Scott Martin from the Chamber of Commerce and the NEDC. These two groups, this would be a fantastic weekend for business recruitment. Why? Because if you're bringing somebody in or you want to showcase Norman and kind of what we can do, that would be a great weekend to do that. You run out of space of one of our co-working spaces, you create that event, bring in these companies, these CEOs in the next 8 days. Like I said, it's a quick turnaround. I recognize that, but we need to pivot quick. So let's show our pivot. Let's show that. Let's get them here. Let's let them see what Norman's about. Let them see the energy, the vibrancy, and the excitement, and just look at it and go, I want to be a part of that. That is a great pitch. It's a great way for us to say, we want you to be a part of who we are. We want you to be a part of the fabric of Norman. Welcome to Norman. And let's talk deals. Like, let's do it now. It's fantastic. I mean, the University of Oklahoma, if you're bringing in athletes, that's a fantastic weekend to bring them in. There's a lot happening. We have a lot going on. It's incredible. People are going to be excited. The energy is going to be up. And it's just it's wonderful. We will be probably the largest concentration of a crowd in our region that whole weekend. Think about that. Because think about what's happening that weekend. We're talking about the Arts Festival downtown. The Memorial Marathon is on Sunday. And yet our crowd will probably, the two crowds together would be larger than I think both of those. That is phenomenal to think that we will have the largest crowd area in Norman at that time. So what needs to happen? Planning, fast is what needs to happen. So we cannot plan in a small way. If you are a small business and you are looking at what something you want to do that weekend, you need to have your welcomes to the fans coming in by Wednesday of next week. So 1 week from today, you should be welcoming everybody. If you're sending out deals to people, they need to have that by Wednesday. Let them know any fans coming in for the Fill the Stadium event or the Norm Music Festival, they come by your business. They can come pick up your swag. I'm like, what do you have that is, and keep those doors open, keep them staffed, and make sure that people know you're there. Don't be hidden. Don't be the best kept secret. And my goal next week for content is going to be telling people about Norman, telling people about how to get around, watch out for construction, best ways in and out. I'm going to do some of the infrastructure stuff, talk about the different places that they can go. I want to talk about some of our institutions. So if you want me to add something, please put it in the comments here. You can pick like, oh, don't forget to talk about this. And I will go ahead and pull the comments up and I will talk about those things in the comments. So if you want to talk about specific businesses or places that you think I should mention that are very Norman centric, I will do that. Regionally, we're looking at U-Noble. We're looking at some of the businesses that are in our surrounding area. We will also acknowledge all of that. It is going to be fantastic. I think this is a fantastic way for us to test our system in a live, real-time situation. I think we have the opportunity to really showcase how great we are at what we're doing and to show off as a city. So this is an opportunity. I am so excited. I hope we have good press people. I hope we're bringing in news channels. Don't forget to support all of our local musicians, comedians, artists, and everybody that will be coming in. Again, this is an opportunity for everybody to come in early. So we want everybody to get to Norman early, get set up, enjoy your time here. I mean, it is going to be fantastic. The energy is going to be through the roof, and we get to showcase the fact that we are a world-class city who is out to have a good time. And we are so excited to welcome everybody. And I will be, again, doing more welcomes and getting ready for that weekend in specific. Next week, I'll be doing a couple more shorts this week and just talking about everything that's going on now. But get ready. I'm going to look at what events are coming up, be showcasing that, showcasing businesses. My lives will be a little bit longer because of that, but it is going to be a welcome packet essentially for a person visiting Norman, which I will hold on to and use it as things are changing as well. Don't every area of Norman. We got great East Side restaurants. We got great West Side restaurants, Central, North Side, South Side. We got all these different areas that are Norman, and we can visit all parts of it. So super, super excited, super stoked. I hope you are too. Cannot wait to have everyone visit. And we are going to welcome you to Norman, and we will see you soon.